Hello fans, welcome again to another episode of this podcast, and today I wanted to whisper to my fans about something that happened to one fellow on New Year's Day Eve. See that? Whisky never helped anyone in this universe, fans. Whisky is a bad friend. Whisky never helped anyone. All the great men and women that man has ever had in history, none of them ever confessed to have achieved any successes just for doing what? For being drunk or tasting whiskey. It is food, yes, and sometimes you might claim that it helps us to heal our emotions or something, things in that direction. It treats us, those who have psychological problems, those who have fluctuating emotions for one reason or the other. You never get peace in your life. Every time you try this, there's always an obstacle in the way. Every time you touch this, every time you plan this, that, there's always a backward neighbor, and always a neighbor who doesn't get even with the environment. He is always contradicting what is happening. He has his own reasons, his or her own reason why they don't want this to happen this way and why they don't want that to happen that way. They want it to happen their way. It is your house, but it is not going to happen your way. It is going to happen your neighbor's way, and that is how it will be. They are always resisting, always arguing, always doing things that contradict what is happening in the environment. People have many different ways of where they get hurt. See, many ways they get hurt, through which they get hurt psychologically. You cannot know. You cannot know. But there might be reasons, excuses, why this, why that, why this. But the reason why is not as valuable as the consequences, the outcome after getting an excuse here to consume the stuff. Now you have eaten it, you have drunk it, you have eaten it for, say, some 30 or 40 years, 50 years you're drinking it. Perhaps it has hurt you, perhaps the liver, your body parts are damaged. See that? No reason is equivalent to the damaged liver. You see that? Be it an order from the Pentagon, be it whatever it is, but nothing can replace, nothing has the same value as your own body. See that? So you have to look for a way of remaining alive, being good, and doing all the best things, enjoying life. If you missed bread today, you don't lose hope. You don't go and soak yourself in whiskey, or when you stumble on a weakling psychologically, and perhaps he or she is going to disclose to you your failures, always resisting. Not this, not that, it wasn't me. You are not better than me. You see that? You are trying to mold yourself, get yourself, and trying to, the delicate mold, trying to mold yourself into something this evening, this year, from now on. I will not be using the Celestia Avenue. I'll be using Nelson Mandela Road only. I don't want to be meeting the These guys here always, you see that perhaps the street is noisy, perhaps you know someone whom if you use that road, you'll always do what? You'll be meeting. And when you meet, there are people who cannot keep quiet. They've told you your weaknesses. Look at this one. They're sneering at you. Look at this guy. Look at him. You look like what? You look like an animal. You're not human. Don't look like human. You look like a kangaroo or just something, any kind of animals, but not human. So now these guys yes are there. We stumble. You see fans, people get into it in many ways. Those who went into it because of psychological reasons. See that? People whom, if their nerves don't touch the alcohol like this, their rate of thinking, their rate of the moods, what they feel, the environment will not be very comfortable, very sweet will not be very sweet for their bodies. See that? They don't feel well, they feel like sick, they don't feel comfortable with life, they don't enjoy life. They start the people cannot withstand to see or to witness life go past them. See that? They cannot witness, they are not strong enough to witness seeing life going on. People achieving this, people struggling, this and this in life. Now you, him or her, everything that she goes upside down, head down, feet up. Doesn't make sense. She cannot make the sense out of what is happening in life. She sees people, money, people trying to do. People say they sell the same product, shoes, second-hand shoes in the market, but her business is not moving. She's wondering why customers go to her neighbors more than they do to her what? To her stall. So there are many reasons. So people decide to say, people say, and cigarette and opium and cigarette, opium and whiskey and the rest of them, and help them to get what? To stay. They get psych out of it. Just psych, and to give it kind of keeps them active. You see, that is that. Just by active it means getting the gloomy modes of their what? Their lives. You see that? Get the gloomy modes of your life. And they say that whiskey does best. See that? Whiskey does best. After taking whiskey, after taking 2 or 3 shots, some of us take very big. They take big, a lot of whiskey. A lot of it. Even a liter of whiskey, someone is still looking at you. They are sick, perhaps. He's still going, taking whiskey. And whiskey, especially this one that we cook at home, homemade gin, it is not balanced. It is not balanced. Say 40% VV waterproof. See that? It is not diluted. That thing is saturated and has something almost like petrol. If you're not careful, you have burned the house. See that? Someone takes in something like that, a whole liter. His body has not done what? Has not even walking. He cannot feel, he cannot do anything. He still is going. At midnight, at 2 o'clock, somebody's going, bring me another liter of Johnny Walker whiskey. See that? And people are going. See? So there are many reasons why people do this. But whatever the reason is, whatever the value of the reason, it cannot match the value of your own body or the body part involved. It gets damaged. There's no repair, there's no spare for it. See that? Yes, that is how it is, but you need help to look for another alternative way of treating your psychology. See that? But whiskey never helped anyone achieve anything or improve their own selves or anything of that kind. Me, I've witnessed whiskey since I grew up. People only go from good to worse. Somebody's gone and ended up shitting in his panties, in his trousers. Others have gone out. Others have gone out mismanaging their families. They don't care of the family, school fees, food stuff. They have work, they have an income, but they cannot provide for the family. Even if you told them again today, they remember going to the pub or to the just joints faster than or more than they do, more than they remember about the caring for their families. So that is it. So not December really, on New Year's Day Eve, on New Year's Day, there was this guy, Whisky's bad. This guy was healthy, very healthy. He had lived in that estate for a long time, and he has been drinking whiskey, he's been drinking whiskey well. He had an income, and he really was a fan of the game. Really was a fan of the drinking whiskey, fan of whiskey, and he cared for his family. He did everything. He gave the time of going to work and worked, and he drank this thing, good quantities, enough quantities. But on this day, first day of the month of January this year, this guy does the unexpected, the abnormal. He does the unexpected. He goes inside. He just drinks in an abnormal way, and then he ends his life. He dies just unexpectedly. He goes and dies, and inside his house. You see, somebody, he went to his home, and it was New Year Day. People were happy for crossing the years, living up to this day, and people were cheering each other, and we all were happy. And drinking whiskey, getting drunk, was one of the ways of doing what? Keeping oneself happy and cheerful, and keeping our psyche high, and being in the mood up to what? Up to standards. So this guy was passing at the joint after drinking. He was passing at one drinking joint, and this joint, they don't sell factory-made gin or whiskey. They sell homemade gin, traditional, and this gin is above 70%, or it is above 90% what? Saturated. It's very saturated, very, very, very concentrated. Now this guy, he wants to drink it all like it is a glass of water, man, or a glass of milk. So he had taken more whiskey, and in the evening, or at around 2 or 3, he passes by another drinking joint, and here they sell traditional stuff, and he meets his friend, and his friends want cheer. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Hey, my friend, Happy New Year. Thanks for congratulations for living up to this day. We've seen 2023 again. They are cheering. Thank God we lived up to this time. And then they do what? they want to somebody wants to give each other a what? They want to steal. They want to celebrate together, but then this guy say, no, I'm going home. It is I have to reach home, but I want to give you a New Year gift. What is it? He says, I want to buy you whiskey, a liter of whiskey, a liter of homemade gin, traditionally made gin, very saturated stuff, almost like petrol. You see that? And this guy says, how much can you drink? This guy says, give me a liter. So what goes inside to the people in the kitchen? Then there comes a liter of gin in a glass, and not a glass, in a container, in a bottle, glass bottle, and it is handed to this guy, and he takes it, and they wish each other success, they wish each other the best in this year, and they have to do what? They have to part, and he goes home, and he does what? He goes to rest in his house first. So when he goes to his house to rest, he's alone. He doesn't have a wife, doesn't have no family, doesn't have no friends nearby, close friends. People have gone far to the city center, into public parks, into the recreational centers. People have gone there to do what? For recreation, to create a lasting memory of the first day of the year 2023, how they crossed, what unique things they did, what unique things they made, what happened this day to make the day. And we only live up to 100 years, 130. And each and every year, everyone wants to leave a mark in what? In history. See that? So this guy goes home, and then he enters his house, and what happened since that time? Nobody knows. He just went inside and slept, and he never woke again. He never woke again. The whiskey, nobody knows, but from the rumor and guesswork that the eyewitnesses made out of the situation in that house, the guy might have died because of drinking oversaturated, concentrated what? Whiskey. Just out of that, and because of whiskey, that guy loses his life like that, and he loses his life, and he dies. You see that? People wake up in the morning, neighbors wake up in the morning and say, Mr. Jones, by this time, usually by this time, he's up and has made noise around, chatting, joking with people, and then doing his home stuff. You see that? Mopping his house, and his radio blaring, the TV on, and many other things, and his kerosene stove boozing in his house, preparing his breakfast before he leaves for work. But this time, and it is already it looks like it took them long, 2-3 days. It just took them a long time. How these people discovered that Mr. Jones, or the neighbor, is dead, is another miracle. According to our source, the source that gave us this story, he was just discovered later, and like that. See that? Is somebody who lived alone, is somebody who didn't have a family, is somebody who had an income but didn't have a family. So the whiskey might have overpowered him, and he didn't have someone in his life who could have sounded the alarm. Mr. Jones is dying, Mr. Jones is sick because of the what? Mr. Jones is not well. Somebody please call the ambulance, or somebody please dial 999, or somebody please call a taxi, we take him to hospital. He didn't. Our source say that people woke up in the morning and found him doing what? Dry, as stiff as, you see, a piece of wood. Died, and the whiskey that he had been bought by his friend was about, the whiskey was about a half, not a half. He had just drunk a tot or two out of that bottle. Just because of that, the man had died. I think we can live without whiskey, and we should give up. We should give up instead of drinking whiskey. Or I've looked around for any alternative ways or any better ways of drinking whiskey. But when I met such cases where somebody has just died in his sleep, he did not touch the whiskey. Who then continued living his life. He did not touch the whiskey. He wouldn't have, that thing wouldn't have happened to him. But and he just died. He didn't wrong no one. He was a good law keeper. He ate well. He took care of his health. He did everything. But because of the whiskey, the thought of whiskey on that particular day, that evening, the man did what? Passed away, and he went, and he's gone for good, never to be heard of again. And he's gone and gone for good, and nobody knows where he might have gone. Heaven, sky, and Mr. Jones is gone, the neighbor is gone, and cry as hard as they can. They cry cannot bring Mr. Jones back to life again. Cannot bring him back to his life. So the guy died like that. That is what happened in our neighborhood. It happened. You see that we are at the slum. The slum is big. You see that if you're not careful, you will not even be able to reach the city center, because the slum, each a few kilometers square area has its own administrational staff, government administrational staff, the cops, the chief and his assistants, and the shops, the wholesale, everything. You cannot even lack a shoemaker to repair your shoe, or a radio repair technician to repair a radio TV. It is hard to move about. So if you don't, it is hard. So that little slum, everything that I've been whispering to my fans on this podcast, it all happened in that slum. And believe me, perhaps I didn't hear it all. This is just the last case. So that's how it is. Fans, let us help this world to quit eating alcohol and cigarettes and other non-beneficial foods. Not the foods that have no nutritional values to our bodies, biological benefits to our bodies. The foods that don't have biological benefits to our bodies, let us go and leave it. If it were just to heal our moods, we can just go for a country run, join the people and do what? And spend your time wisely. Idling has been erased for good. See that idling is gone for good. Just go to a gymnasium or join a football club, and you have used your join any clubs, and you have used your time in a good way, instead of eating that kind of stuff that will lead you into nowhere, perhaps lead you to your death. That's how it has been, and it is. Let's help the world. Let's help mankind quit smoking and drinking alcohol. We can live without it, and we can heal our psyches and can control our moods without drinking alcohol. Alcohol never helped anyone. It only leads us to our deaths, and that's how it has been doing us ever since in history. It never helped anyone. Thank you for listening, and goodbye. Till we meet again when I get something to whisper to my fans. Goodbye, fans.